day old now. I arrived yesterday. That is, as it seems to me, and it must be so. For if there was a day before yesterday, I was not there when it happened. Or it could be that it did happen and I was not noticing. I will be very watchful now, and if any days before yesterday happen, I will make note of it.
I feel like an experiment. I feel exactly like an experiment. It would be impossible for a person to feel more like an experiment than I do, and so I am convinced that is what I am. Just an experiment and nothing more. I have discovered a new experiment. It followed me around for most of the day yesterday afternoon.
A new creature caught my interest. I watched it to see what it might be for, if I could. I think it is a man.
This new, inexperienced experiment must be a reptile.
It was a big, hairy creature, but oddly with similarities of my own. But the strangest thing was that it had an odd growth between its legs. But it didn't seem to mind it. After all, it was very small.
If it is a reptile, and I suppose it is, because it has long, lightly colored strands of hair and blue eyes, and it looks like a reptile. It has a weird shape to its body, too. It has this shape that makes it seem to look like a pear. It's curves that it calls... I haven't a clue what they're good for. It has many strange lumps and curves, and that's all it is. It's a lumpy, curvy reptile.
I have learned a number of things and am educated now. I wasn't at first. I was ignorant at first. At first it used to vex me because with all my watching, I was never smart enough to see the water running uphill. But I do not mind it now. I have experimented, and until now, I know the water never does run uphill, except in the dark. And it must be in the dark because the pool never goes dry, which it would, of course, if the water didn't return in the night. It is best to prove things by actual experiment, whereas if you depend on guessing and supposing and conjecturing, you will never get educated.
This new creature with the long hair is a good deal in the way. It is always hanging around and following me about. I do not like this. I am not used to company. I built me a shelter against the rain, but I could not have it to myself in peace. This new creature intruded, and when I put it out, it shed water out of the holes it looks with. We always seem to be we? Where did I get this new word? Oh, this creature uses it. My life is not as happy as it was.
He seemed pleased to have me around, and I used the sociable we a good deal because it seemed to flatter him to be included.
This place will be called
Eden!
Well, it is the most beautiful place on Kevoirie.
On Earth. There is no such thing as Kevoirie.
Was I asking you?
I thought I could help. During the last day or two, I have taken the work of naming things off of his hands. For he has no gift in that line. He can't think of a rational name to save him, but I do not let him see that I am aware of his defect. This morning he named the dodo, for instance. A dodo! For it looks no more like a dodo than I do!
I cannot stand you always talking.
That is an awful thing to say.
I cannot help it.
Why?
I have never heard the human voice before, and any new and strange sound intruding itself here upon the solemn hush of these dreaming solitudes offends my ear and seems a false note.
Why?
This new sound is so strange to me and close to me. It is right at my shoulder, then in my ear, first on one side and then on the other. and I'm used to sounds that are more or less distant from me.
All week I tagged around after him and tried to get acquainted. I had to do most of the talking, but because he was so shy. But I didn't mind it. This morning I told him my name, hoping it would interest him. My name is Eve.
Well, that is all right. I have no objections.
Call me by it when you want me to come.
It is superfluous, then.
Superfluous?
Superfluous. The word raised me in its respect. It was indeed a large word and will bear repetition.
It is superfluous that you have not told me yours. I am not an it, by the way. I am a she.
That's doubtful, but it's all one to me. What she is were nothing to me if she would but go away and not talk.
What is your name?
My name? Well, it's... I don't have one.
You don't have one? I shall name you then. How about Jonathan?
No.
Bartholomew?
No!
I have it. How about Grunstein? Oh. He did not care. It is strange. If he would tell me his name, I would care. I think it would be pleasanter on my ears than any other sound. I should know your name, for I was made out of a rib taken from your body.
My body? Doubtful. I am not missing any ribs. I should have a name, but your names are long and foolish. I will be...
Adam. You will be my Adam, and I will be your Eve. He took no interest in our new names. I went away and sat on the moss bank and put my feet on the water. It is where I go when I hunger for companionship. Someone to look at, someone to talk to.
She fell in the pond yesterday when she was looking at herself in it, which she is always doing. She nearly strangled, and then she said...
It was most uncomfortable.
This made her feel very sorry for the creatures that live in there, which she has named...
Fish. I have begun to fasten names onto each of them. But they do not call when I call them, like elephant and wolf. I took a few of them out last night and put them in my bed to keep them warm. I thought that they would be happy to be out. They did not seem any happier. Only quieter. Huh.
She's been climbing that tree again. Would you get down from there?
Quiet! Nobody is looking.
You consider that a sufficient justification? Ooh. For chancing anything dangerous? The word justification moved her admiration and envy too. It was a good word.
He is not very bright. Maybe that's why he doesn't speak too much. This morning he used a surprisingly good word. And he recognized that it was one because he worked it in twice afterwards.
What justification do you give the fish for swimming about?
It is difficult to tell how bright he is at times like this.
I lay a dry stick on the ground, and then I tried to bore a hole in it with another one to carry out a scheme I had. But the most amazing thing occurred. A thin, bluish, transparent film rose from the hole.
An evil spirit, run away!
No, it's not an evil spirit. It's disappeared.
It has not. What's that?
Well, that's a pinch of delicate pink dust. Ow!
I told you it was a nasty spirit. Only an evil spirit would bite you.
No, it didn't bite me. It's just hot. It's...
Fire! How could I have not guessed it? You have created something that didn't exist before.
Oh, God! It doesn't seem to be any good.
It doesn't have to be good for anything. Merely beautiful. And look, flames! Those are new too.
Yeah, it's new, but it's useless. It can't hurry a fruit crop. It can't build a shack. It can't You can't make melons any better. It's a foolishness and a vanity.
Fire is beautiful. It will be useful someday, I think.
The creature that named herself Eve has begun naming things in the sky. A big round object she called...
Moon!
Yeah, it slid down and got loose a few nights ago, and then it fell out of the scheme. It was a great loss, and Eve was very distressed over it. She made that pitiful noise again, and shed that water she's named...
Tears!
She's such a numbskull. The moon should have been fastened better! Ugh, I was sure whoever stole it would hide it. I would have done so myself if I'd been the one to catch it. But no, sure enough, it appeared again in the sky. Imbeciles!
I think it was very honest of them. We have discovered so many interesting things in the night. The moon is wonderful, but the stars are my favorite. They capture the smile of God, and I wish I could get some and put them in my hair. But that shall not happen because they are so far away. I tried with a pole one night to get some down, but it didn't reach, which astonished me. By watching, I know the stars are not going to last. I've seen some of the best ones melt and run down the sky. If one can melt, they all can melt. Sorrow will come. I know it.
What are you blabbering about now?
I mean to sit up every night looking at the stars as long as I can keep awake.
Those things? I don't see what's so special about them.
I wish the other creature could take such joy in our discoveries.
She has taken to beseeching me to stop going over the falls. Why? What harm does it do you?
It makes me shudder.
Why? I have always done it. I have always liked the plunge and the excitement and the coolness. It seems to be what the falls are for, and they don't serve any other purpose that I can see, and they must have been made for something.
The falls were made for scenery, like rhinoceroses and the mastodon.
So I built wings like those of birds in my attempt to fly down the falls.
It did not satisfy. It did you no good.
And I went down the falls in a barrel.
It did not satisfy me.
I went down them in a tub.
Still not satisfactory.
Is a woman ever satisfied, or must she always be troubled by one thing or another?
I revealed a new passion to myself. Fear. It has crept upon me so gradually. And him going down the falls makes this new feeling so awful. It's horrible. He has not discovered fear yet, so he cannot understand me. He seems to never understand me.
I escaped last Tuesday night and traveled 2 days and built me a shelter in a secluded spot and obliterated my tracks as best I could. But she hunted me down by means of some beast which she has tamed and she calls...
Wolf.
She came shedding those ever-coming tears of hers.
Every little thing spoke of him today, and my heart was very sore.
Perhaps I should remember that she is very young, a mere girl. And then I can make allowances. She is all eagerness and interest and vivacity. The world is a charm to her, a joy, a wonder, a mystery. She can't speak for delight when she finds a new flower, but she must pick it up and caress it and pet it and pour out endearing names upon it.
Rose, daffodil, petunia. You are my little petunia.
Never.
I have been experiencing a new passion, a sadness. I do not know why very clearly, and it is all a mystery.
She's color mad.
The pearl of the dawn, the purple shadows on the mountains, the golden islands floating in crimson seas at sunset.
None of which has any particular value as far as I can see, but because they have color and majesty that is enough for her, and she loses her mind over them.
But no matter. Nothing would have come of that. For he does not care for the flowers. He calls them...
Rubbish.
And he cannot tell one from the other. And he doesn't seem to care for the animals. And he doesn't care for the flowers. Is there anything he does care for?
Well, once, when she was standing marble white and sun-drenched on a boulder with her young head tilted back and her hand shading her eyes, following the flight of a bird in the sky, I realized that she was beautiful.
It is a joy to be so beautiful. And Adam, he has changed. I think he realizes that he loves me. It is best he remembers it, but if he forgets, I will be sure to remind him. This morning we discovered the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Of good and evil?
Yes.
Well, what's that?
What's what?
Why, those things. What is good?
It's... I don't know. How should I know?
Well then, what is evil?
It must be the name of something. I don't know what.
But you must have some idea.
Why should I have some idea? I have never seen the thing. I can't form any conception of it.
And there are those other words. Die and death. What do those words mean?
Eve, it is impossible to make even a plausible guess concerning a matter about which I'm absolutely ignorant. I can't think if I have no material to think with it.
Yes, I know it, but how vexatious it is. All the more I want to know with the things that I don't know. How stupid we are. Let us eat of it, and we shall know what it is and have no more bother about it.
She has taken up with the snake now. She trusts all in the animal line, and they trust her. And because she's never betrayed them, she thinks they wouldn't betray her. Oh, this is not a problem yet. But this snake seems quite inauspicious and deserves to be watched. But nevertheless, I'm glad that the snake talks, for this gives me rest.
The snake advises me to eat the fruit of the tree.
The apples are forbidden, and you will come to harm.
He says the result will be a fine and noble education.
I saw disaster, so I left. But then disaster fell. An hour after sunup, as I was walking through a plain where thousands of animals were grazing and slumbering and playing with each other according to their wont, all of a sudden, they broke into a tempest of frightful noises, and the whole plain was a frantic commotion as every beast was destroying its neighbor. I knew what it meant.
I ate the fruit and brought death into the world. I knew that this meant that Adam and I would never be allowed in Eden again.
We met up at a place outside the garden. She brought me some apples. I was furious with her, but I ate them anyway because I was so hungry. And she came curtained in boughs and bunches of leaves. What do you mean by such nonsense?
I knew not what to say. Only that I felt open and exposed in this new world, and felt the need to invent clothes.
She only blushed and said nothing, but soon I understood. These are most uncomfortable. This fig leaf has bogs.
And you say women are never satisfied.
Fine, the leaves can stay. But I will not wear this pink flower.
We made more clothes, and we'll need to make more. I wish we were better suited like the animals.
I see that I would be lonesome and depressed without her now that I've lost my property. She'll be useful. I have to go on a hunt. You've been eating all this food in the storage.
I cannot help it. Lately, my stomach has been feeling completely empty.
Lately, your stomach has been looking impossibly full. Why do you keep trying to fill it?
You are a nuisance. I will not miss you when you are gone. When he was gone for a week, a strange child crawled out from in between my legs. It was a great surprise, for I do not remember it climbing inside of me in the first place.
What is this?
This is a relation. I got it while you were hunting.
It resembles us in some ways, but no, this is an error in her judgment. See, the size warrants it to be a new and different kind of creature. A fish, perhaps. Yes, although when I took it to the water to test, it sank.
He is such a dimwit. He does not realize that it is a child. He means dearly and lovely, but he is a scientist first and foremost, and a man afterwards. He can't help it. It's in his nature. He sulked when I told him that there would be no more experimenting on our child.
Fine. I don't understand. She thinks more about this creature than any other, and she even carries the fish in her arms half the night when it complains and wants to get back into the water. I don't see why she doesn't just put it back. If it sinks, it's of its own shortcoming.
Adam does not understand that I have begun to love this thing. I have decided to name it Cain.
It isn't a fish, though I don't know what it is. It doesn't walk like one of us. It is a bird.
It can't be. It does not fly.
It is a frog.
It does not hop.
Well, then it must be a snake.
It does not crawl. It is a child, Adam. Your child.
Whatever it is not mine. It has ceased from laying on the ground now, and now it goes about on its four legs, although it differs from other four-legged animals in that its front legs are unusually short, and consequently it causes the main part of its person to stick up uncomfortably high in the air, and that is not attractive. It is a kangaroo.
Adam, it is not a kangaroo.
No, I see that she was right. No, it is not a kangaroo. No, for now, it supports itself by holding Eve's finger, and thus it walks a few steps on its hind legs, and then it falls. It's definitely some new sort of bear, although it doesn't have a tail yet, as yet, and no fur except on its head.
The child keeps growing. It is curious. Most creatures get their growth much earlier. I'm impatient. I want Adam to see that Cain is not a fish.
I will get you a baboon if you let this one go.
No, this one is mine. He believed I found it in the woods, and I let him think so, because at times it beguiled him to go away and hunt for another one, like my new surprise.
It has been a weary, weary hunt, and yet I have had no success. I might have hunted those woods hundreds of years, and I still never would have run into the thing.
Never.
Oh my God, you have caught another one! I've never seen such luck. See, it is plainly clear that this one is of the same breed as the old one. Let me stuff one for my collection.
You cannot stuff one.
Why not? You have two.
No!
You are prejudiced against it for some reason or another. I think it's a mistake. Would please?
No!
It will be an irreparable loss to science if one should get away. She named the new one
Abel. He is beginning to learn. He is not as quick as his brother mentally, but he has persistence, and that takes place of quickness.
They are boys. We found that out long ago. It was their coming in that small, immature shape that really puzzled us.
That puzzled you.
We were not used to it. There are some girls now, and Abel's a very good boy, but if Cain had stayed a kangaroo, it would have improved him.
The boys had grown to men. We have begun to learn from them as they have been learning from us.
I have taught them to grow food.
I have taught them to cook it.
I have taught them to map their way through the forests.
I have taught them to love every part of it. And I have taught them to adore animals.
I have taught them to hunt. They can wrestle and beat the most vicious beast to the ground victoriously.
Abel has slept a day and a night now. We found him in his field 2 days ago. His face and body drenched in blood. He said that his older brother struck him down. He spoke no more and fell asleep.
In the beginning, I was angry with Eve for causing us to leave Eden. I missed the purity and the tranquil surroundings and the happiness. When she was around, I thought she talked too much. I was mistaken from the beginning.
It is my prayer that Adam and I may pass from this life together. And if that is not possible, it is my hope that I shall go first. For he is strong, I am weak. I am not as necessary to him as he is to me. For life without him would not be life. How could I endure it? This prayer is immortal and shall never perish from the earth, but shall remain in the heart of every wife that loves until the end of time. I am the first wife, and in the last wife I shall be repeated.
Her voice has fallen silent and passed out of my life. Eve became a part of me that I was attached to like any piece of my body. Maybe there was truth to her being made from my rib. But since she is gone, I feel emptiness inside. I feel like a part of me is missing. I never realized the happiness that she brought. I never missed Eden when she was there. No, for wherever she was, there was Eden.